Today I was out and about. I had to do some stuff, and I was required to leave my bubble. All right, so I had to do something. I was out. I went into a store. All right, I went into a Family Dollar. All right, probably about an hour and a half from this recording and shit. Yeah, I was in there, and it's a hood store. All right, so it's all it's stocked and everything, but everything just has this like air of decay about it, this dinginess. And sometimes it's not like that. I know the manager. He is a cool brother and everything. Every time I go in there, mostly some brothers in there. It's okay. But today I went in. It was like wasn't even the B crew. It was the fucking C crew. It was like a Pookie. Yeah, he was a Pookie. This guy was definitely a Pookie. He even had the fucking winter hat. The winter hat on top of his head. Like a little gnome hat. Or a dunce cap and shit, and blackface. It was him and it was this sister in there, okay? And the reason I'm showing you the picture of Just Hilarious is because this woman was almost the spitting image of Just Hilarious and even sounded like her or whatnot. So, like, when I saw her, she was obviously loafing. She was goofing off. I don't know if she was a new employee or something, but it was like a long line and shit. I'm not bitching about that. I got what I wanted out of there, which, I completed the fucking mission. But, like, she was in there, right? And, at one point I was standing adjacent to her. I had like some products I wanted to get out of there, and of course she was like a few inches away. She was standing at the cash register, the second cash register, a few feet over. The guy is just taking on like probably 7, 8 people and shit at his register, and she had nothing. And she was sitting there just looking at the side of my fucking head. And then I realized that she was actually uh, counting money. She was just sitting there counting money. Probably was the end of her shift, but usually in those kind of places they tell you don't be out in front, because it makes people upset, a little bit upset and prone to yeah, acting out and shit if they see you at a register and you're not helping. So I'm not here to talk about the management of the shitty dollar store. It's the South Side of Chicago. It's the hood. It's the black neighborhood. Okay, so like no big deal, right? Plus, you guys already know I'm a misogynist, anarchist, and shit. So there's no chance I'm gonna engage with her and shit. Okay, there's no chance, right? And I want to go there. So I'm there, right? So I eventually inch closer to the register with the Pookie behind it, and I hear her talking, and she has a voice just like voice and appearance just like Jess Hilarious. I know it wasn't fucking Jess Hilarious, okay, but I hear her talking and she's going off. She's not yelling, but she's yelling. She's talking to someone and she's telling them that they better get that look off their face because she'll slap their face off. She'll knock their eyes out of their head. She'll fuck them up and shit. She was talking real grimy and shit. Anybody that's from the Midwest to the over towards the East Coast know that kind of thuggish, female that talks like that with the Just Hilarious voice. Just really, like telling somebody like, I felt the threat, and I wasn't gonna look her in the face because we already exchanged the glances and everything, but I didn't know who she was talking to. So she was like, you better get that look off your face. I'll slap your face off. I'll knock your eyes out of your head. I'll put you in the hospital, shit like that. I'm paraphrasing. I'm actually cleaning up what she was talking like, okay? The voice like kind of like MC Light, kind of voice and shit. Just going off, for like, it didn't last. It was like probably like 2 minutes, right? So like I was just there and I casually looked over to my opposite side and I saw who she was talking to. She was talking to a baby. It was a baby, barely 1 year old. Barely out of diapers. I seen a little baby. I looked down at the little baby. And then I looked up and there was a fat woman standing there next to the baby. And then it dawned on me that she was talking to her son. That was her son she was talking to. And the fat bitch was probably somebody, a family member or a sibling or something that was bringing the baby down there so that they could all go home together and shit. And I thought to myself, I feel like saying something to her, but I knew better and shit. It's like, man, fuck it, because she started talking that shit. I'm a misogynist anarchist, so it's gonna go a certain way, and I don't feel like being a statistic. If I'm gonna get taken down by some misandrous, bitch. I want it to be newsworthy. Okay, I'll put it that way. No domestic discipline on the streets of Chicago in the area where no one gives a fuck. Okay, unless they're gentrifying it. Yeah, she was saying this shit to her baby, a baby, and the baby went away with both of the hands over his face. He just turned and he took off running because he was crying. The baby cried. He was silent. So I understood what kind of household he grew up in, and I always seen shit like this. In my life growing up here. One of the reasons, I can't say it's one of the reasons I left, but like I wouldn't miss it and shit. You always see these like hood women, and you say, man, who fucked you? Who fucked you? You want to beat up the dude that got her pregnant and shit. Okay, you want to beat him up for being irresponsible and shit. You want to beat him up and then beat him so bad that afterwards you make him you give him a tutorial on how to use a condom and shit. Okay, you make him roll it on his own fucking finger several times, a fucking condom and shit. And then you knock his ass out. All right, I was grossed out by this, but I thought about the subject of son husbands, and this is how they make son husbands. Okay, this is how they. I was looking at I was looking at the manufacturing line. Okay, I was looking at one being made right in front of me. A little black baby boy, cute little boy. He could have been on like a little. He could have been a model or something. He could have modeled. He could have been on a Pampers commercial or something. Cute little boy. He wasn't saying shit, and she was talking to him like he was my fucking age or something. And then the little kid took off with his hands covering his face, and I looked. I just looked at her for a second. Then I looked away and shit because I was disgusted, and I thought to myself, "This is why. This is why. The environment is the way it is. They created. They're the architects of the hood. Okay, they don't teach their sons to be great. They can't. They can't understand it. They're basic women and shit. They're not real women to me. Okay, they fulfill the requirements on a physical level for being a woman and shit. This is why in 2023 you can have the government and identity politics questioning what exactly is a woman and shit, and trying to slide in, the alternative community and shit, very successfully, I might add, and shit, much to the detriment of these same black women and shit who sit up all day complaining and demonizing black men and shit for shit like this and saying we made the hood and that we're violent. The violence comes from your sons that you raised without a man in the house. Okay, the bad decisions you made. Okay, the lack of birth control. All right, the other bad decisions. Sleep with the criminally insane sometimes. A lot of that shit over here where I'm in the South Side. A lot of dudes you could just classify as criminally insane and shit. Okay, I didn't say if you're in my side of town there, and somebody come up on you, because usually in Chicago is home of the sucker punch. Do what you must. Okay, it won't be no big loss. And this female, she's no big loss and shit. It just made me sad that I prayed that the kid would somehow get out of the house with, get away from her. I prayed. I literally prayed when I was walking. I left the store. I sat down for a moment. And I thought to myself, I said, please, Most High God, please save that child. All right, please save that child. I'm not in a position where I can intervene. Okay, but I feel bad because one day that kid is going to be, he's going to be a man, chronologically a man and shit. And he's going to have a stunted mental situation in this little cranium there. He's probably going to be a Pookie. He's a future Pookie, a future Tyrone, whatever you want to call it, any kind of thug name. I refuse to with this Jaquan and Jacavius bullshit. People say that shit get on my nerves. All these fucked up names they give the kids. They dress the kids like they treat the kids like fucking toys and shit when they're babies, when they're newborn babies. Treat them like a Cabbage Patch doll, and sometimes they dress them in like feminine clothes and shit. That's why you get all the nigga with braids and shit. I ain't talking about nobody with no locks or nothing. So like these niggas, they used to be giving them hair dudes like little girls and shit. Piercing their ears, all that bullshit. That's where you get this shit from. All right, bad, fallen, shitty ass basic women. Making a parody of motherhood. All right, I wish I could have said something to her. I wish I could, but you know, what would be the point and shit? Okay? SYSBM equals save yourself, black man.
This message has been paid for by the Dusties. Yes, the niggas you love to hate.